Alright, so in part 4, I'm going to show you how to make pivot tables and also how to get information and some really cool graphs and data that Google will generate for you. So to get those graphs, you can go to Form and you go to Show Summary of Responses. And so this will show you who's done the most observations of the observer, so that's me since I've done the 2 that are in there. It'll also show you the teachers, so which teachers have been observed the most. It'll break it down by subject area, so both teachers I observed were STEM teachers, so you'll see that there. It breaks it down by grade, so right now we only have our 6th grade and 8th grade classes that have been observed. Shows you the focus areas, and these are things that I just filled in, so we're not going to see any graphs because they're all going to be different. And then for type of contact, we can see observation and debrief have been the 2. Areas of strength, you can see the different areas of strength, and then also the different areas of growth, and then my next step and the teacher's next step. And so it just takes everything that you've done, if you have a lot of teachers and a lot of data, and allows you to get kind of a broader overview of what everything looks like. To give you a better idea of what this might look like, I'm going to go to my old teacher tracker and go to Form, and again we're going to go to Show Summary of Responses. And you can see my 102 responses. You can see the teachers that I've observed. You can also see in this particular case, Mr. Flanagan has entered some observations as well. You can see the subject areas that have been observed the most. The grade breakdown. So we have less 9th graders than we do 6th, 7th, and 8th, so those have been our primary focus. You can see the type of contact that has been made, the areas for growth, so we can see that classroom management and pacing are 2 large areas of growth, and then also areas of strength, so we can see engagement and content delivery, checks for understanding, those are some of our higher areas of strength, and then teacher next steps, coach next steps, evidence of progress, and you can also see your daily responses, so how often those responses are being submitted and holding yourself accountable there. Okay, so that's how we get this report. Now we can also create pivot tables, which are awesome because they allow you to have a little bit more information on a daily basis. So I'm going to show you an example. This is a pivot table that I created to show the amount of time spent with teachers. So you can see the teachers are going across here, and then at the bottom it calculates how much time I've spent in minutes with those particular teachers. So you can see I've spent a significant amount of time with some teachers versus others. And then likewise I've created an observation tracker pivot table, so it shows how many observations and what types of observations I've done with particular teachers as well. So to create these pivot tables, if you're on your master sheet page, you can go up to Data and you click Pivot Table Report. And so it's creating my pivot table right now. And so you'll see to start off it's blank. I'm going to show you how to create the pivot table that shows you how much time you spent with each teacher. So for my rows, I'm going to choose the date. For my columns, I'm going to choose the teacher name. So now it's created teacher names across. These are 2 teachers I've put information in for so far and the 2 dates that I've done that. For values, I'm going to go ahead and choose length of contact. And so this puts in the time that I spent with each teacher. So it can show me that so far I've spent 15 minutes with Miss Beatty and 10 minutes with Miss Rippey. And then you can also choose what you want it to summarize by, and I have it by the sum, so I can see the total amount of time that I've spent with them. Now an important thing to note about this is as you get more data in your master sheet, you'll need to edit the range to make it cover more of the master sheet so that you can have your data be updated. And then also I'm going to show you here, I'm going to rename this to time spent with teachers. And then as I put more information about each teacher in there, it'll give me more information about how much time I'm spending with the teachers individually. So, and you can create as many pivot tables as you want. So if I want to create another pivot table, here again it starts out blank. And then if I just want to go ahead and add, I can add more fields so that I can have more information from my master sheet. So for example, if I want to look at the type of contact that I've had with each teacher and put my teachers across, and then for my values, I'm just going to choose the date, and instead of showing by sum, I'm going to have it do a count. So it's counting how many times I've done an observation and debrief with the teacher and showing me that. So I can see the total number of times I've done an observation or debrief with Miss Beatty, total number of times I've done an observation or debrief with Miss Rippey. So you can get a little bit more information this way as well to kind of keep track of how many times you're observing a particular teacher. And of course, if you were to switch the rows and the columns, then if you wanted the type of contact going across and the teacher going down, you could do that as well. It's just really up to your preference. And I'm going to rename this, of course, to types of teacher contact. Okay. So that's pretty much it. To review, if we go to Form and Show Summary of Responses, we'll get some nice graphs of the responses that have been inputted through our form. And if we go to Data, we can choose Pivot Table, and we can create these really fun pivot tables that give us some more information about the teachers that we're observing.